Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this afternoon mountain weather update. New data. We'll look at some of the latest trends, some new maps I've got here. But first, to where it's snowing right now. And it's been off and on today up at Aspen Mountain and Snowmass. And this is pretty typical for the west-northwest flow. You'll get packets of energy waves that come in and intensify, and then it will wane a little bit, get a little bit lighter. But we're in a pretty good pattern here. It will have fairly steady snow into Saturday morning. And then a much larger push of moisture arrives by Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, throughout the day on Sunday. Let me take you into Vail right now, where it is also still snowing up there on Vail Mountain. I really like Vail. I think you're in good position for some heavy additional snow. And the same thing holds true for Vail. The biggest push of moisture, the bulk, comes in Saturday afternoon, night, and throughout the day on Sunday. So let me show you my bullet points here. The latest stuff I'm seeing, the trends. Snow continues in waves with this west-northwest flow. Utah and Colorado, really the biggest absolute push of moisture comes in during the afternoon, evening of 12-2 into 12-3. Throughout the day on 12-3, in fact. If you really want the big powder, Sunday's the day. Monday, I'm sure, would be good. But Sunday, you'll be storm skiing all day with heavy accumulation. Wyoming, pretty steady snow all the way through early 12-4. As it looks right now. All right, I'll take you back. I want to show you what water vapor satellite imagery looks like. Again, with this, the moisture transport aloft is showing up in white and blue, and it's really all about this atmospheric river connection and the bending, the west-northwest flow pattern carrying that down. So you've got this almost like conveyor belt of moisture being transferred in to really the Pacific Northwest and BC. And we're seeing copious amounts. We're going to see copious amounts of low elevation rainfall and heavy snow on the higher volcanoes and higher cascades. We're going to be talking feet in many of these places, from Whistler down to Baker and Rainier, Bachelor, Stevens Pass, all those places. And at times, little pieces of it will break off and ride the northwest flow down and really benefit, the Wasatch, the Tetons, and the central and northern mountains of Colorado. Here's how this plays out in time. This is the forecast radar and satellite. That's the current state of affairs. You can see how the moisture stacks up on the different mountain ranges there. And here we are by Saturday morning. Still seeing some snow happen through the Tetons, the Wasatch, central and northern mountains of Colorado. The next big package of moisture is reloading in the Pacific Northwest, and that's what's going to break loose, and watch it come south. So by Saturday afternoon, it's on the move. It's moving through Idaho and parts of western Montana, and it's just starting to hit the Wasatch and the Tetons. And watch what happens by Saturday night into Sunday morning. That is going to be your biggest push of moisture right there, with best orographics and coldest air. And that's where we're really going to crank out some really big totals. That's Sunday morning. Here Sunday afternoon starts to wane a little bit. We're still seeing that rich flow. And by the time we get into a Monday morning, it's much lighter, with just leftover snowfall in the Tetons and parts of the central and northern mountains of Colorado. And by Monday afternoon, you can see it's basically over. Then we have to shift our focus to what's happening in the Pacific Northwest. That will become a storm system down the road, which will which will actually dig pretty far to the south by the time we get into 12, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let me show you what the jet looks like right here. So this is 12-2. This is tomorrow. You can see the jets all lined up for this, just escorting that moisture in. And again, it's stacked all the way down to about 10,000 feet. So the jet pattern by 12-9 it's evolved over the last couple of days, 3 days. If you've been watching these videos, it just keeps digging further and further to the south. And at times it looked like it might even cut off. But at this point, by 12, 8, 9, and 10, it looks like it's going to take a little further track to the south. And it does look like there's going to be snow as it drives its way south. And especially once it comes out of this by about 12:10, 12:11, it may spin up another larger low in southeast Colorado. So that's something to watch down the road. Way out there, though. Here is the forecast. And this is remaining snow. So this is additional accumulation on top of what we've already seen. So in the Tetons, we've got another 18 to 20 inches coming. In the Wasatch, another 30 coming for Alta and Snowbird, another 20 to 24 for Big Cottonwood, and about another foot for Park City, Deer Valley. In Colorado, again, it's the central and northern mountains that will receive the most benefit out of this west-northwest flow. So another 16 on the way for Snowmass, Aspen, about another foot for Crested Butte. We've got 22 on the way for Vail. And like I said, I like the setup for Vail. I think you could end up with that 20 to 22 inch, additional snowfall forecast there. Some of that spills over the 10-mile range to Breck Summit County. 20 on the way to Steamboat, about a foot for Cameron, down to Longs, and potentially a little over a foot for the tunnel, Berthoud Pass. We'll see. I'm not totally sold on those bigger numbers. I think a foot is more likely, but Central Idaho does well. Pacific Northwest, we're talking a couple of feet up there. Let me dig in just a little bit here. So I did a snow plume forecast. This is accumulation through time for Vail. So you can see on 12/2, which is tomorrow, we'll probably accumulate about 8 inches, roughly. Some of that's in the morning, and again, the bigger push comes Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and into Sunday. You can see that stretch between Saturday night and throughout the day on Sunday yields over a foot, probably close to 14 inches. So we'll end up in the low 20s, 22 inch roughly. And then some additional snow around 12, 9, 10, 11. Here's the second period. Now, actually, you know what? Let's do something else specialty. Let's zoom into Colorado's Front Range. I showed you this yesterday afternoon. And you're looking down. There's Denver. I've got the map turned, so you're looking west-northwest. You're looking through the foothills into the Continental Divide and beyond. So you can see a lot of the snow stacked up on the Continental Divide, and especially west. There's Vail at 22. There's Steamboat at 20 coming. Flat tops are going to get just absolutely hammered. I wouldn't be surprised to see 3 feet up there. Buffalo Pass, probably 2 feet or a little more. About a foot on the Continental Divide. Again, those numbers might be a little bit optimistic through Loveland. So not much in Denver, maybe a dusting. Again, the downslope component will probably dry out most of that before it reaches Denver. But still, possibility of a little bit. Here's the second period, 12/5 through 12/10, as that low drops all the way south and then curls into Colorado. You can see if it does spin up in southeast Colorado, we could be looking at a foot of snow through southwest Colorado, northern New Mexico, but that's such a long way off. But it just shows you there is something way down the road to watch at this point. Here's my updated numbers for the Northeast. Again, a lot of this comes from one single storm system. And you can see probably a foot for a lot of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this update. Hope you're able to get out this weekend, enjoy some of the snow, and, of course, always be careful. Take care.